Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Design. In this episode, we're going to take 10 common rocks that anybody can find. We're going to cut them in half. We're going to see what's inside. Today, all the way from Australia, Jim has sent me a nice selection of rocks and we're going to take a closer look at them. And then when we get done with these rocks and cutting them and looking at them, I got the cabochons from episode 59, the ones that Dante sent up from Illinois, and we're going to take a look at those. So stick around for that. So let's take a look at these rocks here. So here we got some rocks that Jim sent up from Australia, and to be specific, they were from, in my American accent here, the Avon River in southwest Victoria in Australia, if you want to know exactly what area Australia these came from. So let's see what we got here. All right, we got this one here, looks like got some jasper in it and some kind of host rock. Take it to the pool here. Yeah, got a little oily going on there. Looks like it's got a little greenish tint to it. Okay. This one here, it's got some definitely softer rock. Hopefully it'll cab okay. Kind of orange looking. Now, don't let the outside colors fool you, because we've seen many times in this episode when you cut them open, they can look totally different. And this one here kind of looks like a granite. Got some swirly, lacy patterns going on there. That should be an interesting cut. All right, got this one here. Looks like a big hunk of jasper to me. Yeah, look at the layers in there. Ooh. It might look cool. Well, it will look cool. Let's be positive here. This one looks kind of like a quartzite. Liking the stripe. And this one here, got some bits of something floating around in there. Quartz, calcite. Get it wet. Got a little greenish tinge to it. I don't know if those are fractures or just matrix in the rock. Yeah. This one looks interesting. Looks like it's got some fortifications going on in there. Look at that. Ooh. It's a little agate. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay. This one here, obviously black something, chert or jasper maybe. Okay. This one here looks like a sedimentary rock with a lot of fractures in it. So this one might be a challenge. Cool looking pattern though. Trying to think how I'm going to cut this already. Okay. And then this one here, broken. I can see something going on in there. Looks kind of cool. Yeah, look at that. Swirly pattern. Okay. All right. He sent some extra ones because I kind of like it. If the viewers send in rocks, send a few extras so we got some. So I got some rocks to choose from here. We're gonna look at these real quick because I might go ahead and cut them up on the saw. So we had this one here. Got this one, kind of quartzy looking rock there. This pinkish quartzite maybe. This one looked kind of interesting. Another quartzite, maybe. And one with some lines running through it. Okay. And then this one here looks kind of like another jasper. And I like the red. It might be interesting if we cut this one open. So those rocks there aren't going to be part of this. These are the ones I'm going to make cabochons out of. Those rocks there I may cut them open if we're doing good on time. So let's go down and saw and start doing some sawing. All right, we're down here on my high-tech 10-inch lapidary saw. I use a 10-inch sintered diamond blade here, continuous rimmed, and I'm rubbing my thumb on it right now. I just want to show you this thing is absolutely not sharp. It don't even cut the glove. It cuts with diamonds and not a sharp point. Now this is a brand new blade, so I don't have to do anything to it, but after I use it for a while, you got to dress it so you expose more diamonds so it'll actually grind through the rock, and I use a old grinding disc here to dress it. Well, you'll get a demo of that probably in the next video. So, episode 60, let's cut the rocks gem scent. Okay, first up I got this black one here. Thinking I'm going to cut it right down the middle. That was a hard one. That took a few minutes. See what we got. Okay. Get the focus here. There we go. This thing's got some little lines right now. We're going to talk about these more in depth upstairs. We're just going to show them quick and chat about it a little bit. Oh, this one here, it's like a chunk of granite. I'm liking the design there, so I'm going to slab off this side right here. Let's see what this one looks like. Ooh. Cool pattern. Okay. This one here, kind of debating. I think I'm going to cut this side off here. See what it looks like. Pattern and color. Okay. It's kind of cool. Okay. This one here, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this end off right here. Okay, I'm hopeful with this one. Ooh, look at that. That cool. Wow. All right. Let's see, this one here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut off this broken side here and see what we got. Okay, we got a cool design lurking in here. Ooh. Yeah, I'm seeing some porosity too. That's pretty. Okay. This one here, I'm going to split it right down the middle. Alright, question is, what color is this yellow stuff inside here? So it's yellow, okay. Cool pattern. Smooth cut. Alright, got this one here, kind of agate. I'd like, let's see, I'm going to cut this face off here, and that'll give me more in case that this don't work out here. Okay, hoping for pattern. Whoa, look at that. That is cool. Okay. Take this one here. I'm going to go ahead and split this one in two. Okay, this had these cool looking stripes. Let's see if they went all the way through. Oh yes. Almost looks like a sunrise there. Cool. Had this little bumpy greenish reddish rock here. I'm going to split this one too. Felt nice and solid. Let's see what we got on the inside. It kind of looks like a galaxy stone there. Okay. And this one here. Let's go ahead and split it. Inside look like the outside. Kind of interesting pattern going in there. Alright, so I'm going to take these 10 upstairs. These are the ones we're going to be making cabs out of, talking about it, but I'm going to go ahead and cut these extra ones here I showed you earlier. Let's see what we got. Since Jim went through the trouble to send them all the way from Australia, I think this is the least I can do. So, and if you don't want to watch this, you can skip ahead. I'll put the timestamp for the cabochons. So this one here looks like a piece of quartzite. Let's cut it in half. Oh. Okay, nice and solid. And this one here, we'll cut this one in half. Alright. Oh. Interesting. Same thing here, gonna cut it right in half. We got kind of pinkish going in there. Okay, the stripy one here, we cut this in half too. We have a pattern in here, I think. You can kind of see a stripe in here. Thing, cutting in half. Kind of broke there towards the end. That's kind of cool. A little crumbly. And this one here, I'm going to cut this one like that. What we got? Okay. Alright, now I'm going to take the rocks we're going to make cabs out of. We'll take upstairs and look at them, and then I just wanted to let you folks and Jim see what was inside these rocks here. So we'll see you upstairs. So we got these interesting Australia rocks that Jim sent cut in half. Let's start looking at them here. I'm going to run them through the bath here to get some of the crumbs off. We cut this one in half here. It had the little spots and looked like spider webbing going on in there. That. Look at that. It's got, ooh, it's kind of a bluish tint going on right there. Not seeing, look, I don't think those are fractures. I think they're just part of the rock. That looks cool. Hopefully it'll get a good finish. I'm not seeing a lot of pits either, so that might be interesting. This little black one here. Look at the outside again. And look at that. Not a lot to look at, but black rocks make some really pretty cabochons. And this one had kind of a shine on the outside, so I'm pretty confident with this one here. So this one here might be one of my favorites going into this one. Look at that. Big chunk of jasper looking stuff there. You can kind of see pattern on the outside. Isn't that pretty? A few pits though. You can see some pits right there. So maybe I might go back and take another chunk out of this. Or I can find a cab I can avoid most of the pits. That is gorgeous. Or I can cut it a different way. We'll see. All right, we had this granite looking one here. kind of little patterns going on the outside there. Look at that. I'm hoping these are healed fractures because they're everywhere in this rock. Kind of look like it. That one looks like a real fracture right there. We'll see. And granite, if this is granite, it could be nice too. Usually it shines pretty good, so I'm pretty confident if we can avoid the fractures. All right, this one here looked really interesting from the outside. You can kind of see some swirly stuff and color and everything. There's the inside. Lots of pits though. Well, in places. So we'll see what we can do with this. This might warrant another trip to the saw as well. I'm liking the pattern and stuff in there. Okay. Piece of quartzite looking rock here. This is almost like a picture stone when I open it up. Look at that. My mind is just racing on what kind of scene I can make with this one here. Yeah, it looks kind of cool like that. It looks like forest on the horizon. Yeah, if you got any ideas or suggestions, leave one in the comment. Help me think about how to do this stone here as a cabochon. There's that way. There's that way. And there's that way if you want to think about that. Cool. We had this one with all the veins in it and the soft looking host rock right there. I went ahead and split it down the middle. The color didn't change too much. Seen a few little pits in there, but I like the pattern. And the host rock, it feels like it got a really smooth cut on it, so maybe it will shine. But yeah, we'll work something out there. And we had this sedimentary looking rock here. I went ahead and cut it along the lines. I might have to go through and cut it again. That'd come out pretty thin right there. I'm liking that. And this, I thought was a crack. It looks like it's a healed fracture or something, kind of like something poured back in there and glued it back together. But I think this will look cool once I get a chunk off here I can work with. Yeah, I'm impressed with that. Okay. We had this one with chunks of look like jasper in it, and pretty much looked the same on the inside as the outside. I said it kind of looked like galaxy stone, looked like a nice solid cut, and I'm not seeing a bunch of pits in there, so kind of confident this will make a pretty cab. And of course, you know which one I'm saving for last here. Look at that. Look at the outside here. Line it up. And cut it in half, and look at that. That is an agate. Waterline and fortifications. So now I gotta figure out if I should just go ahead and cab that or take another slice and get a cab that looks like that. Because usually I always cab from the flat side, so this would be the back of the cab and this will be the front of the cab. But you know, everything's on the front here. We'll see. I gotta think about this for a little bit. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to take all these rocks and I will make a cabochon out of each one of them. The other rocks, the extra rocks I cut up, I probably won't do anything with those as far as this video is concerned, but some of them are pretty good looking. I'll probably make some cabs out of those too. So let's move these rocks out of the way, and I made cabochons out of the rocks that Dante sent up from Illinois, and we're going to take a look at those. All right, let's look at the cabochons I made from episode 59. So first we'll start with this one here. Right, this is the rock. I cut the end off and it had some color in there, and then I said I was going to cut the other end off. I did, and all it was gray with a lot of pits in it. So I'm just going to remind you what the color looked like here after I cut it, like that. So made an absolutely gorgeous cabochon. A few little pit up in the corner here, but other than that, all these cabs shined really good. I'll tell you that right off the bat. So this one here. So there's the original rock, and there's the cabochon I made out of it. I had this one here. This is one of the ones you look at from the outside and you would just kick it out of your way or walk right past it. But then you cut it open and it looks like that. Isn't that pretty? Had this druzy pocket right in the center there. Kind of messed up a lot of my ideas. So I went ahead and I made a ladder here. A little skinny, long skinny one. And I think I caught everything that cabochon had that was cool. Got a really good shine, and I don't know, I kind of like the contrast there. There is the original rock, and there's cabochon that came out of it. I had this one here, couldn't really see what was going on in it, and then when you cut it, it's kind of quartzy looked like it had kind of some fortifications on this end right here. Kind of see that. Here's cab. Nice little teardrop I made out of that. The only problem is I had a chunk come out right about there where my thumbnail is. Other than that, this thing is nice. Had a few fractures in it. But this part here was really interesting down there. So there's the original rock, and there's the cabochon I made out of it. I had this dark one here. Had lots of pits and holes on the outside. Fairly solid on the inside. Had a kind of a subtle pattern going on in there. A few fractures down the lower part. There's the cab. Beautiful shine. The fractures kind of peek through, but I think it's a nice looking cabochon. So there's the original rock, and there's cabochon I made out of it. This piece of quartz here, I thought I had some eyeball stuff going on in there, but I think that was just way it got beat up or something over the years. Had this nice, easy pattern in here. Had a little color to it. Well, here's another shiny cabochon I made out of that. It's got the dark orange, the yellow, and the white. That come out pretty good. There's the original rock, and there's cabochon I made out of it. I had this one here. It's another one you would probably walk by. Cut it in half, and it looked like that. And the only issue I had was whatever this white stuff is the porosity here. This is just crazy porous. But this side, not so much. I managed to kind of squeak a cab out of there. Good pattern, good shine. Got a little bit of the porosity stuff right there. Nice pattern though. So there is the original rock, and there's cabochon I made out of it. This is the one I said kind of looked like waterline, because you can just kind of see the lines in here up and like that. When you open it up, they weren't as apparent on the inside as they were on the outside, but made a really nice, cool looking cabochon. There's cab. Kind of put the lines at a diagonal there. You kind of see them there. Really nice shine. There's the original rock. And there's cabochon I made out of it. All right, another rock that you would just walk by, but it had this cool kind of creamy color to it with these brown lines running through there, kind of like that. Another real shiny cabochon here, and I incorporated the line, kind of like what I wanted. It had a little chunk fell out right here. You can kind of barely see it, but I don't think it takes away from the cabochon at all. So there's original rock, and there's cabochon I made out of it. And another one that, you know, kind of had a little bit of color in that end right there, but man, you cut this open and look at that. A little water on here. And this here I thought was a bad crack. Nope, it's healed whatever it was. So here is the cabochon I made. Absolutely beautiful shine. Actually, that's kind of pink, a little red. This thing's got all kinds of colors in it. That there. Even some spots. So there is original rock, and there's cabochon I made out of it. Then I had this piece of quartz here, kind of similar to the other one, but this one, a little darker red on the inside. Look at that. And you would never know it looking at the outside. So I made a nice dark orange cabochon out of it, almost reddish. Beautiful shine. And there is original rock, and there's a cabochon I made out of it. So there you have 10 rocks with a bunch of them. Any normal person would look at them and kick them out of the way and just keep on walking, and look what was inside these rocks here. So I'm going to let Dante pick out 3 of these for himself, since he took the time to send me these rocks. And then whatever's left over will probably end up on Etsy, and I'm starting to get behind again. Hopefully, I'm hoping I'm going to have a big dump here of Etsy rocks or cabochons on Etsy here shortly. So there you have it, episode 59, cabochons. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me cut those rocks in half from Australia. I would say those are kind of special rocks, you know, come halfway across the world. Really appreciate Jim sending them up here. And then the cabochons I made out of Dante's rocks, I don't know what to say. They're really shiny. They all come out really good, and I just can't get over, you know, a ordinary looking rock, and you cut them open and you got them beautiful colors on the inside. So they will end up on Etsy, whichever ones you don't pick eventually. This video comes out every Wednesday. And then I got another video that comes out every Saturday where I make a cabochon. I show you my process where I use a rough rock or a slab, and I take you through the whole cabbing regime there. All you viewers out there, I appreciate it, and especially the subscribers. Now I'm at 20,400. I'm creeping up there. I really appreciate it. All you viewers that have not subscribed, consider subscribing. Absolutely free. Buttons down below. Push the button. And then slide over, give me a thumbs up, because that gets the analytics out there so more people can find this content. And then you can share it, hyperlink it on your mobile device, and push that bell button for notifications when these videos come out. I'm going to put a playlist up for the rock cutting videos here that come out on Wednesday, so you don't have to search around for them. And then I'll put the video up of the previous video, so if you want to see Dante's rocks being cut in half, you can go back there, and you can come back to this episode 60 and watch this video. So next week we'll have some cool rocks, and then we'll see the cabochons from Jim's rock that he sent from Australia. So come on back. That's all I got, and I'll catch you later.